Hi everyone, Becky Ivory here. Since the COVID-19 shutdown has pretty much stopped business almost throughout the entire world, I've had a lot of my clients reaching out to me and saying, show me how to work online. How do I connect with my clients, with my customers? How do I make this work so that my business doesn't go under? So I've done a few trainings on how to do this, and I thought maybe I'd make a quick recording or two and walk you through the process so that you can use these online tools that are available now to really increase your bottom line, to bring you greater peace. And I'm hoping that you'll learn to love them so much that you will continue using them even after we are back to life as normal, as we know it. So first, I'm going to show you 4 reasons why I think you should consider adding online tools into your business permanently. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the online tools that are most common, most popular to use, and what those options are. And then I'm going to show you how to use what I use, which is Zoom. Now, I'm not paid for this. They don't sponsor me in any way, shape, or form. But Zoom is the company that I've chosen as my online platform right now. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up a meeting. And then we have a part 2 video where I'm going to show you what it looks like from the host side, where you can go through all the little parts of setting up and running a meeting as the host. Normally, you can't see that from somebody else's point of view because Zoom only shows that to the host, not to the participants. But I've been able to record my screen and we'll show you what that looks like in the next video. So quickly, let's talk about the 4 reasons why I think you may want to incorporate an online element in your business. And first is because you can meet face-to-face with anyone in the world, literally. Think about who your clients are. Who are your ideal clients? And are they only living right there in your neighborhood, in your town or city? Or are they literally spread across the world if you could just reach them? All of my coaching clients I do online. And it's nice because my ideal client is somebody who owns their own business or a woman who is struggling with food, because that's one of my passions. And they exist everywhere. Some of my clients have been in Trinidad, Tobago, some have been in Pennsylvania, Nevada, California, everywhere. And the nice thing is it takes me this long to get in that meeting and it takes them the same amount of time. So it works beautifully. And if you provide a service that can be given virtually, then you have a great potential to be able to build your business by using online tools. Now, my daughter cuts hair and she does hair and makeup for weddings. She obviously can't do your wedding online. She's got to go physically touch you, but she can do a lot of other things online that help her keep her business running smoothly, that help her kind of build her tribe and add value to her customers online as well. So keep an open mind as to how this online platform could serve you. The second reason I think that you may want to incorporate online tools is because you can stay connected to people from wherever you are. So if you're owning a business and your workers are all at home, your employees are at home, you can connect with them every day. You could have a quick 10-minute meeting in the morning saying, hey, does anybody have any questions? How is everybody doing? What are our projects for the day? You could have an hour-long meeting where you're still talking about things that you would have done had you been at the office. So there are some powerful things you can do to stay connected to those people. The third thing that I think is powerful is that you can create some online content that you may have never thought about before that will help expand your client base and increase your bottom line. So, for example, my daughter, Elisa, she has her business of doing hair and makeup. But during this time of the shutdown, she's creating tutorials to help people learn, like, how do I trim my husband's hair? He's got to look good, but nobody's cutting hair right now. So she did a little tutorial on here's how you cut a man's hair to not look too bad. It's an awesome way that she's found to be able to connect with her people, even when she can't be with them one-on-one. And if you start thinking about what are some services that you could provide for people. So one of the things I do is go into different businesses and I do trainings. I go into their conferences and I teach and I help them learn how to public speak and how to do leadership and communication. And those are really fun, exciting things. But not every company is going to have a conference. Not every company is going to have the budget where they can pay a speaker to come in and do a private engagement. And so if I can offer some of those tools and trainings online that they can access from anywhere, then I can charge them a lot less money because it's something I can reuse for many businesses, and they still get a ton of value and be able to get those lessons and things that they want for their people. So there's ways that I can take what I'm doing and duplicate myself. If I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, which I love, but there are only so many hours in a day. So if I limit myself to one-on-one coaching, I can basically work for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that is the most amount of money I'm ever going to make, is what I can charge hourly for that. But if I could figure out how to do some group coaching sessions, and I've done this where people have come into a meeting from all over the world, and now we have a group session made of 5 or 10 people who don't live anywhere near each other, and yet they can all get value from me and from each other through the virtual world. It's really exciting. And so the last part of that I think is important, the fourth piece, is you can free up your time to do more of what you love. If I have 5 coaching clients a day and I choose to drive to those client sessions, number one, I can only go to the people in my very local area, so that limits who I could see. But let's say they were all here. Well, that takes me about an hour per client, because I'm going to be early. I'm not the kind of person to show up right at the last second. So I would have to leave my house at least a half hour ahead of time. And then after I leave their coaching session, it's going to take at least a half hour to get back. So it takes me double the time to do an hour-long coaching session. It takes me 2 hours of my time. So every time that I schedule one online, I save myself an hour. What can I do with that hour? I can work on my business. I can get my next blogs written. I can clean my house. I can take a nap. I can call a friend, right? So I save time by using online tools so that I can do more of what I love to do. So those are the 4 main reasons why I am a major fan of online tools and think that they would be helpful for you. Now, some of the meeting tools that are online, there's tons of them now, right? There's no way I could possibly list them all. And like I said, nobody's contacted me. This is just my own personal experience list. You have to make sure that you have a computer with video and audio capabilities. If you don't have that, you're already toast. So if you need to, go out and buy a new computer. They don't have to be an expensive computer, but they do need to have both audio and video capabilities. Some people will try to get on with just audio. It's not quite the same. It's okay, and it's nice to be able to hear people, but that's more like a phone call. These one-on-one meetings are easier to connect with people if you have video. You can see facial expression and body language and all that stuff. Video is really important to be able to really connect with each other online. So make sure you have those things. Then make sure you have a nice quiet place. Lock your dogs in the backyard. Try to do it when the postman's not going to be delivering a package, and make sure that you have some privacy. Things are going to happen, but that's what the mute button is for, right? Okay, so then the last thing you need, obviously, is an online platform where you can have your meetings. And there's a lot of choices. When I first started out, I tried Google Hangouts. I didn't think it was bad, but I also didn't think, I was trying to use the free version, I'll tell you that. I didn't think it was as convenient for business. And that's why Google has business options. I never tried their business options. I can't tell you what they're like, but I think Google generally does a really good job. So they would be worth checking out. I did check out their prices. They have like a $6 a month, $12 a month, $25 a month program. They include some of their other software and things. So that's something you can check out. After that, I went to a free conference call. And I did several webinars that way. Was not a bad way to do it at all. Very simple, user-friendly. It just didn't have a lot of options for creating lots of recurring meetings or that sort of thing. And it's been a while since I've used it, so they may have changed, but they're not a bad option, especially if you're starting out. There's GoToMeeting. One of my previous companies that I worked for used GoToMeeting. That worked just fine. There's Skype. Skype's paid version starts at, I believe, $5 a month, so that's not too bad. But my favorite is Zoom. I find it to be the most user-friendly for me. My brain just understands it better. I can create different meeting IDs for all my different meetings, and it's affordable. I think I pay $14.99 a month, and I have the lowest paid program. There is a free program. The free program, I believe you can have up to less than 100 people. I have to double check that. But I believe you can have less than 100 people on those, but those meetings can only last for 40 minutes. I don't know about you, but most meetings that I'm on need to go over 40 minutes, so I need to get a paid program. Now, above the $14.99 a month thing, they also have, I think it's $19.99 a month. Those things change, so check out their website. And that you can have more people on, you can have different users. So for instance, in my program, if my husband and his business wants to use our account, I can't be on a meeting at the same time. We have to coordinate. If I go up to the one that's a little bit more money, then I can have a meeting going, he can have a meeting going at the same time, and it's not a problem. Then they also have a webinar function, which is more money, but also allows you to have up to, I think, 10,000 people watching your webinars and things like that. So, but I'm going to show you quickly now how to set up a Zoom meeting in the first place. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And you'll see that I have my online browser open. And this is my Zoom page. You'll see my little face up here. And I have already clicked to start a meeting. On your left, you've got your profile, meetings, webinars, recordings, settings. And all you have to do is click meetings, and there will be a plus sign there to start a new meeting. Now, I didn't show you that first page because on that page are listed all of the meetings I have scheduled. And to protect my client's privacy, I didn't show you that page. But once you click the plus sign, you'll see the ability to add a new meeting, and then you'll find yourself right here. You can call it anything you want to call it. I'm going to call this test meeting, just so I'll remember to delete it later. You can describe it as anything you want it to be. You don't have to describe it at all if you want. But when you send the invitation to those who you want to participate in this meeting, they're going to get the description. So if you say, hey, Becky Ivory is inviting you to this meeting, and it's called this, and here's what the description is, then they're going to go, oh yeah, I need to be on that meeting, and put it, on their calendar and accept the invitation. If they don't know what it is, then you'll be like, why is she inviting me to a meeting? And then that doesn't help anyone. You want them to understand what they're going for. So you can describe it. You can put where and when it's going to be, the date and the time, how long you want it to last. And then, of course, you want to set your time zone, because that's going to go in the invitation. When I have somebody in Trinidad, Tobago, they're at a very different time zone than I am here in Utah. So they need to know what time that is taking place in. I like this feature. You can click here if it's a recurring meeting. So if I have a coaching client that's every Monday at 9 o'clock, I can just say that it's a recurring meeting. It's going to show up on my calendar as recurring. It's going to send to them as recurring. And I never have to set up these settings again. It will remember them every time, and all I have to do is start the meeting. You can tell it how often you want to recur. You can tell it how often you want it to repeat. And you can say, okay, I want it to go every day for a week, and then I want it to end a week from now. So that's the joy of being able to set kind of the specifics of when these meetings are going to take place. You can require people to register. Nowadays, with this shutdown, a lot of people have figured out how to hack into people's accounts and put things on there that are unwanted. So if you require people to register, you don't have to let the whole world know how to get on the call. You can just let those who have registered know about that. Requiring a meeting password, that's not something I've done a lot of, and I'll tell you why. I haven't done it because I find that most of us in life are lazy. We don't want to take 2 and 3 steps to sign up for something. We just want it to be quick and easy. And requiring a password for people can be a little bit frustrating, in that I'll be starting a webinar and suddenly I'll be getting texts from people saying, hey, I can't find my password. What's the password? Did you ever get the password? And so I just found it was easier not to use it. But if you use a password, you are far less likely to get hacked and have your meeting ruined and interrupted by someone that you don't want in that meeting. So a password may be a good idea. Here under video, you want to say whether you want the videos to be automatically started or not for both you and your participants. I usually say yes, unless I'm doing a webinar where I really don't want the participants' faces on the screen or whatever, but I usually have yes for the host and the participant. And then the audio, do you want to allow them to join by computer, by phone, or both? In this case, I always choose both because I don't know what anybody's going to want to be able to check in with. Meeting options. If you click enable join before host, that means that when they click on the link, if they're 10 minutes early, they will be in the meeting room just waiting for you to get there. If you imagine somebody waiting for you in your office. If you down here click enable waiting room, what that does is it puts them in a separate little place and it tells them your host will admit you shortly. Okay, it kind of says that in the chat section. And then when you're ready to host it, it will tell you how many people are in your waiting room. It will show you who they are, and you can admit them by just clicking on the name, admitting them into your room. Be like calling them into your office when you're ready. The nice thing about that is if somebody's trying to hack your meeting and you look in that chat room and you see who's in there in the waiting room and you don't recognize somebody's name, you don't have to let them into your room. So that may work really well if you have a smaller group where you know everyone. But if you're trying to do a webinar and you have 80 people on and you don't know the names of all of them, that would be pretty difficult. So in that case, I would probably do the password. So waiting room can be an easier way to bypass the password. You can choose to let only authenticated users join, and you can record the meeting automatically. This is something I choose every time, and I'll tell you why. I do a lot of online coaching, and I love the fact that I can create a folder where my clients can access the recordings all the time. So if we have a great session, they want to go back and listen to it, or they've forgotten something that was on there, they can go back to their file and listen to and download their videos at any time. And I really like that. I also like it for liability reasons. If you're working with a client online, it's nice to have a recording of everything that happened. My husband's a lawyer, maybe that's where that thought process comes from, but I think it's nice to have a record for myself as well. Up here, we skipped over this one that says mute participants upon entry. That just simply makes it so that when they all come in, automatically their microphones are turned off. So you can't hear everything going on in the background. That's really nice if you're having a big meeting, especially because people forget that their microphones are on. They'll start talking to their spouse, or their dog will be barking, or somebody rings the doorbell, or their email starts popping up and dinging. And so it's nice to just have everybody muted and have it be quiet. On the other hand, I have found that some people don't know they're muted, and they'll begin talking to me thinking that I can hear them, and I really can't. And so I think it's always easier to let everybody come in with their sound, and then I like to mute them all after when it's time to kind of start the meeting. That's kind of just a personal preference thing, whatever you desire. And then when you're done, oh, you can also click alternative hosts. That is nice to use if you have a program where you have multiple people registered in the program. So if my husband and I were separate users, then I could make him a host of a meeting. If like I had to leave early, the meeting would continue to go on and he would just become the host, or he can start a meeting early if I wasn't there. Because the way I do it, I don't have an alternate host. I don't really worry about that. So once you save your meeting, you're going to see it here. It's all set up. You can add it to your calendars just by clicking any of these links. And then you can invite other people to your meeting. So if you see here where it says invite attendees, it has this long link here. That is the link that your attendees will click if they want to join the meeting, if they're going to put it on their calendar. And right here it says copy the invitation. All you have to do is click copy the invitation. It shows up right here. You'll see exactly what they see. Okay, has the instructions of how to join it down here. I usually find this information on there is not real applicable to me or my clients, but it doesn't matter. You can leave it there or delete that part. But I just copy the meeting invitation. It's automatically copied to my clipboard, and then I can go to my email, my text, however I'm communicating, send that invitation to those I want on that meeting, and it's as simple as that. Now they've been invited. Now that's it for part one. In part two, I'm going to show you just how you can host a meeting, and you're going to be able to see it from the host's side of things, which you normally never get to see. So I'm hoping that this will be helpful for you, and I will see you in part two.